What is going on, YouTube? PPS back here. It is our YouTube Play of the Day video, but obviously you can tell it's a little bit different today. First ever guest on our Player of the Day video, pulling my buddy Matt Ice Picks over on Twitter. How you doing, Matt? It's been a little bit since I've seen you.
I'm good. And I was telling Justin earlier, I was telling you that I thought when you texted me last night, you were going to say you were in Vegas, and I'm in Texas visiting some family this week. So I was going to be so upset. I was about to book a flight back, but no, I'm on here this morning, and it's really been a while since we've done any sort of stream together.
Yeah, no, it's been a little bit. I know I've been doing the Pass the Prop live stuff almost every single week and all that, but yeah, getting back to our soccer roots, and I'll have two MLB spots. I know you have a pretty big play here coming up shortly, so make sure you guys lock these in right away, and we'll get right on into it. I will start off. We're on a 12-4 run. We're going to recap. Yesterday, I had the Blue Jays' first 5-team total. They ended up cashing 2 outs in the 5th inning. Thank you, God, for Danny Jansen. He is an Appleton product from Wisconsin, so obviously he lived like 10 minutes from me. So I was very happy to see him get a nice sac fly with 1 out in the 5th. But I'll go right on into my first play of the day, and it's going to be Kyle Wright to record a win. This is going to be a DraftKings line at minus 125, facing off against the worst team probably in baseball, at least the worst lineup in the Oakland Athletics. They are absolutely awful. Just looking at the team numbers here, the Braves at home are 15-11 first 5. And obviously the Athletics are a little bit worse. Overall in the season, they're 17-28 to the first 5. So obviously that's not very good. So if they're leading through 5, obviously Kyle Wright will be in consideration for the win. Kyle Wright's numbers, he's only gone less than 5 innings once this year, and that's against the Red Sox, where he got blown up for 6 runs. So I don't expect the Athletics to be putting up those types of numbers against Kyle Wright. Obviously, he's a really touted prospect and also has been fantastic this year. The biggest thing in him is his whiff rate is fantastic across the board. He's got 4 pitches over 26% whiff rate. And he throws a sinker at 19% whiff rate, which absolutely nobody is hitting well. Only a 200 batting average against that pitch. Obviously, we've talked about on the show, sinker and cutter are 2 pitches that you're trying to put the ball into play with and get soft contact. So I love Kyle Wright here to beat up this Oakland team. And also going into a little bit more numbers on the Atlanta Braves, because obviously for you to record a win, you need to be winning. So Braves hit much better against lefties. Got Cole Irvin, the guy he's going to be facing off against. Home road splits are pretty drastic. His away numbers, 5.09 ERA versus a 1.6 at home. That's obviously a huge difference. And in this type of game where you're going into Atlanta, much better hitter's ballpark. I love the Braves to get off to a huge start. I also think the first 5-team total over 2.5 for the Braves is a great spot to attack. I like fading Cole Irvin today, and obviously the Atlanta Braves are hot. Just reached the 500 mark, and I believe they've won their last 3 series. So give me the guy who's a better pitcher, give me the better ballpark, and give me the better hitting team here. Kyle Wright to record a win, minus 125. Have you been watching any Braves baseball there, Matt?
So as a guy that grew up in Nashville, you're either a Reds fan or you're either a Braves fan. So the last MLB game I went to was actually a Braves game. So I'm going to say that I like this play, but I have absolutely no support for you on it because no, I'm not a huge MLB guy. I haven't really been watching a whole lot, especially with Nations League going on for soccer right now. That's kind of been really taking up the majority of my time, but I'm always down to tell you on the Braves for sure. I like this play.
I love it. I love it. And that's kind of funny that you talk about that because obviously my next play will be in that Reds game, but that is absolutely hilarious.
Love it.
Let me get your play up here next, and we'll get right into exactly what you talked about in the Nations League here. And a pretty big play for you, 2 units, huh?
Yeah, so this is going to be a 2-unit play for me. And yesterday and today are 2 of the driest Nations League boards that I've seen. We have games going on pretty much every day for 2 weeks. Next Tuesday, I believe, is the last day. And I think there's one day with 4 games. Every other day has 6 to 8 games. This is really one of 2 spots I'm taking today. I don't really see a lot of value on this board, but I really do like this play. Hot stat for this game is on the road. Montenegro have actually conceded a goal before the 20-minute mark in 4 of their last 5 games. Finland have great splits for this first half total, 7-1 in their last 8 to go over at least 0.5. A lot of those actually had 2+. Montenegro 6-1 last 7 on the first half over 0.5, and it's also 6-2 in their last 8 competitive matches on the road. So I do really like this spot. Montenegro is really a young team. They did record a 2-0 shutout win against Romania. They put up 14 shots in that game, which was pretty impressive. But they're kind of a team that is very young, and a lot of times I'm trying to find the right word for it, but a lot of times they make mistakes because they
overly
don't
aggressive.
Exactly. And Finland is a team, especially at home, that kind of just tries to lay the hammer early. Last game, we actually saw them score in the 14th minute. It got waved off. They ended up scoring again on a penalty in like the 44th minute, right before halftime. They tried to lock this game down after they got the early lead in the second half. Didn't really do anything besides play defense in the second half, and Bosnia actually scored in the 93rd minute to tie the game 1-1. So kind of a bad beat there for Finland. I'm expecting them to come out very hot, try to be very aggressive early in this game, try to catch that Montenegro defense off guard. But I really like the numbers for this play. And again, there's not a whole lot that I like on this board today, but this is definitely the one that I've had circled all week.
Yeah, I always like going with those younger teams, those guys that almost are like, I don't want to say too dumb to know any better, but they're just like, I'm going to go score. I don't really care what happens. I don't care about the defense. We just want to put up numbers. So yeah, I always like backing those types of teams for overs because those are just fun games to watch, right? I mean, they don't really care about anything else but scoring, which is
exactly
and very entertaining.
Exactly. And I guess one more note I'll have on this game is a lot of these Nations League games that we've seen, and I actually don't like what I'm about to say for most of the games today. But what we've seen a lot is that we will see action in the first half, and then we'll just see teams try to lock it down in the second half. Montenegro actually didn't score in the first half last game. They ended up scoring early in the second half, won the game 2-0. But Finland, complete opposite, scored in the first half, tried to lock it down, and kind of got unlucky at the end of the game there. But I really like the first half totals a lot more than the full game. I don't think that the over 2 for the full game loses, but I don't necessarily think that it wins. I feel like that's probably going to be a push, and I'm hoping that we see 2 in the first half, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, no, I always like having the half cash options. I think that's still a great spot, especially for a 2-unit play. So you at least get 1 unit if they're able to cash in on that 1 goal in the first half, especially if they're scoring early. There's obviously a lot more time for them to get that second one. And I'm going to like that. Like I said, going to your team. I don't know if you're a Braves or Reds fan, but I'm going with the Reds. Obviously, an NL Central team I've watched quite a bit.
I actually watched them last night. I actually watched this game last night, believe it or not.
Yeah, dude. Freaking Hunter Green looked fantastic again. And I expect the same type of thing here. We have Graham Ashcroft on the mound for the Reds, rookie this year, also facing off against another rookie in Tyler Gilbert. Tyler Gilbert, we'll go into a little bit of his numbers. As a starter this year, he's sitting at about a 5.5 ERA. Also getting hit extremely hard against right-handed batters. 289 batting average versus 0.63 against lefties. Obviously, that's a pretty damn good number. But this Reds lineup is full of right-handed pop. You got Tommy Pham in there. You got Brandon Drury. Senzel has been playing great since they brought him back up. And if you look into the numbers here, the Reds are actually the 3rd best hitting team at home this season with a 266 batting average in a 787 team OPS. That's actually very, very good, especially for a team that started off as bad as the Reds did. But they're playing much better as of late. Tyler Gilbert, like I said, newer guy to the league. He's going to be throwing a cutter-sinker combo most of the time, about 60% of his pitches. But it's only going to be around that 87 to 90 range when we're going up against Graham Ashcroft, the newer guy here for the Reds. He's going to be doing the exact same thing, cutter and sinker. But this man's throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. That is hard to hit when you have movement both ways. Obviously, he's been fantastic. He's not a strikeout guy, only a 12% K rate. But you look into his batted ball profile here. His weak contact is 4x what the MLB average is. His topped, meaning the guys hit the ball onto the ground, is 9% higher than league average. He's going to be putting the ball on the ground, especially they call Red Stadium Great American Small Park because it plays so small in the summer because the ball flies out of there. And when you have a guy throwing 97 to 98 that's moving, getting balls on the ground, that's exactly what you need when you're rolling in that ballpark, right? You want the balls on the ground, not in the air. And lastly, the Reds absolutely crush left-handed pitching compared to right-handed pitching, right? So Reds actually are batting around, let me see their numbers here, 240 versus left-handed pitching when they're batting around 200 versus righties so far this season. So home spot for them. Tyler Gilbert, worse on the road, and going to be going into a very small ballpark, throwing only about 90 miles an hour against a team that hits extremely well at home. Give me the Reds first 5. I'm not even going to mess with the bullpens here. I'm sure you know the Reds bullpen isn't the most safe place to go. So I'm going to be rolling Reds first 5 money line, minus 135. I'll drink a little bit of the juice. This is about as high as I'll go on juice. But I think it's definitely warranted with a guy like Graham Ashcroft and the way he's been throwing since he's been brought up.
Yeah, and I won't really add to this at all, but the Reds have been hitting the ball very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into the analytics like you did, but they've been hitting the ball very well. They looked great last night. Obviously, that game got called a little bit early because of the weather, but in fact, they did look great. So I like this. I will be tailing this for sure.
Yeah, and again, last night against another lefty in Madison Bumgarner, and that guy had a 3.3 ERA going into that game, and you saw that ball fly out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're getting a guy who's throwing even slower than Madison Bumgarner, has a way worse ERA, almost double, and the Reds are already smoking him. I'll take that all day. So quick recap. I have the Reds first 5 money line and Kyle Wright. And Ice, if you want to talk about yours quick, rolling into the Nations League, correct?
Yep. So this is actually at noon Eastern time. Finland, Montenegro, first half over 0.75. So that means you have half your wager on 0.5, half is on over 1. So if we only see 1 goal, you're going to win 1 unit. If we see 2, you'll win 2 units. If we see 0 goals, you will get 0 units. So that's how that works.
Awesome. Well, perfect. We're on that 12-minute mark. That absolutely smash spot time for us. Matt, before you head out, what you got anything for the people here before we head out here on this Tuesday? Starting already June. I think it's crazy. This summer's flying by.
I know, and it's already like 1 week into June too. No, I don't really have anything, but me and you still need to get out and see UFC fight in Vegas. So we got to figure it out. At some point, it's going to happen. But we've been saying that for a year, but it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, no, it might be like an August thing. I think there might be. I'll have to look at the August cards and see if I can make my way out there because I definitely would need to head out to Vegas. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, go follow Matt. It's going to be in the description below. Follow him on YouTube and Twitter. He's putting out plays as well. So make sure you lock all these in, guys. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow around that 10:30 time again for another show here on the channel. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you're tailing. Best of luck if you are, and hopefully we'll make some money today. So thank you guys. Peace.